To descend a ladder into utter darkness, one must move in a tedious and measured manner. A single wrong step might have caused me to plunge deep into further darkness. I did not know what awaited me at the bottom. There was no way for me to find out exactly how much time had passed, but I could feel that it had been hours. My slow descent was reduced even further by soreness and fatigue. My body ached all over. There was an odor, that copper-like smell of blood mixed with rotting putridity. It had been present throughout my climb down the ladder. It gnawed at my head and made focusing difficult. Blood rained past me from above. How did they bleed so much? I heard the dripping of liquid joining more liquid. My body was nearly ready to give out when I felt my legs submerge into something warm and wet. Water would have been a welcome change, but I knew better. More blood. I hesitated a moment. I still lacked all visibility. I would be treading blindly through blood. I peered up the ladder, but the manhole cover had been resealed hours ago. I took a deep breath and stepped off the ladder. My feet were unable to reach the bottom of the blood-filled pool. I kicked and paddled with great effort to keep my head above the gore. Blood really is thicker than water. I knew that my best bet was to stay against the wall and follow it, and hope that it would lead me to a door or some other way out. I pressed my hand against the slimy stone and swam. I hadn't gotten far when I saw a lantern suddenly flicker to life at the opposite end of the chamber. In its faint glow, I could see a wooden rowboat. The blood rippled as oars were pushed and pulled, propelling the boat towards me. "Hello!" I called out. The boat continued in my direction. I was hesitant to find out who was steering, but what choice did I have? The boat reached me, and I could see a shadowy figure on board. He wore a dark, ragged cloak, with a hood over his head. His face was concealed by shadows. He leaned towards me and extended his arm. "Take my hand," he said. His voice was aged, but still had some strength to it. I was slick with blood. I would not be easy to grip. I reluctantly did as he said, and to my surprise, he firmly grabbed a hold of my hand and hauled me out of the blood and into the boat. I was a crimson sheen under the glimmer of the lantern. The man grabbed the lantern and sat in front of me. He set the lantern down between us and lowered his hood. He had long, unwashed white hair and a long beard, similar to the man who had opened the door for me earlier. He was elderly, but not as gaunt as the other man. I could see that he was missing his right eye. "Thank you," I said. The old man nodded. "What is this tower?" I asked. "A prison, mostly. This chamber is my cell." "How long have you been down here?" "I do not know." "Why are you here?" "I was captured." The old man smirked and grabbed a hold of the oars and began to slowly row us back to the side he came from. "Have you tried to escape?" The old man exhaled. "There is no use. We have been deprived of that which gives us our strength." "We?" "My people,"
My family. They are imprisoned here as well.
I thought back to the 4 tortured souls above, their intestines pulled from their bodies and blood pouring from their amputated legs. Are you aware of the cruelty that's taking place above? The old man nodded.
This pool of blood is theirs.
How many people have bled to fill a pool this deep? The old man stopped rowing. We had reached the other side.
The 4 men you saw hanging always have been. Ever since we've been here, they were mutilated, hung from chains. And when their bodies run dry, and they're brought down and healed, and the cycle repeats.
Healed by who? The 3 women? The old man nodded.
Erd, Verdandi, and Skold. They shape destiny. That of the 4 men above has become a circle of blood and agony.
Those names sound Nordic. I suddenly remembered the symbols I'd seen on the surface of the tower. They had looked like Nordic runes. The old man produced a weary smile.
Yes.
He took the old lantern and rose to his feet. He stepped off the boat onto a stone platform and held out his hand for me to follow. Adjacent to the platform was another large wooden door. This one was solid. No keyhole.
I'm not able to open this door. But you are,
said the old man. Why me?
He calls for you.
What does he want?
I do not know.
Who is he?
The prophets spoke of him as if he were the coming days of oblivion. We were ignorant of the truth, that he lives and breathes.
I do not understand.
You will.
The old man motioned to the door.
Place your hands upon the door, and it will open.
I did as he told me. There were a sequence of clicks and thumps as the door unlocked, and then slowly but surely, it drifted open. A breath of wind swept against me, and the whispering voice of the one who awaits again said, "Come to me." I turned to the old man. "The door is open. You can join me." The old man shook his head.
I'm sorry. It is too much of a risk. Perhaps you can help us.
How?
Find Eden. She holds the key.
The key to what?
To ending this.
I looked back at the open door and the descending stone stairs beyond. The old man placed a hand on my shoulder and said,
My sons are down there. I have not seen them in a very long time.
What are their names? The old man removed his hand from my shoulder and was returning to the rowboat.
I recognize you,
he said. We've never met before. The old man took a seat in the boat and raised his hood back over his head. Another round of blood began to flow down the ladder and into the pool. The dripping echoed off the chamber walls. The old man glanced toward the sound. He looked back at me and smiled.
Not as you are, but as you once were.
The old man extinguished the lantern's flame, casting behind him a curtain of darkness. What does that mean? I asked. I could hear the movement of the oars and the stirring of the blood. I asked once more, but the old man did not respond. I stood at the doorway and peered down the long, winding stairwell. I could hear what sounded like the distant clang of a hammer striking metal. And towards it I went.